This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at another of the Masters of the Universe movie core class figure sets. And this is the box it came in. It's obviously designed to just ship stuff like this, so hence the shipping label here. Just see Masters of the Universe there, boring crap here, nothing there, more boring crap here, and then the contents of the box, because this is HeMan and the SkySled pack. So when we open it up, we do see HeMan here on the SkySled in the packaging. At the top of the box, which I'm going to have to show separately, we see HeMan riding the SkySled also as well with the Masters of the Universe logo. And this was not that expensive, to be honest with you. Mattel is definitely trying to keep with a low-cost line of toys for the kids here. HeMan was rubber banded to the SkySled. So here's one thing. I'm not sure if this... Why is his arm... Okay, never mind. I don't know if the core class HeMans are all the same looking, but generally speaking, I'm kind of thinking that you could more or less not buy any other HeMans if you wanted the SkySled version, you know what I mean? I think a couple of them have like special ability kind of stuff. I believe one of them shows like a energy swipe with the sword and actually has the old articulation. Wait. Yeah, it has like the old articulation where you could spring them back and forth, you know what I mean? Like the old toys back in ye day. Unfortunately, his skirt piece does move around a bit. Underneath there, though, he does have the standard breeches. Obviously, it looks like we can take his harness off as well. Oh, and he has apparently got an injured nipple. Unfortunately, like I said, the skirt piece doesn't really sit very well on his waist. It keeps on bunching up. So there is that kind of an issue. And he doesn't want to stand. And we've taken a basic look at core class figures already. The more important thing right now is the SkySled here. This is interesting. Okay, so we got two sets of ball joints. Oh, top pops up too. For the stirrups here. Although, to be honest with you, that does seem a little low there. But we can also put it here. What I am wondering, and what I've been wondering since I ordered this, because remember, I ordered this thinking that it was actually part of the Origins style figure. So I want to know if these pegs actually work with it, or if perhaps it depends upon if you're riding it sitting or riding it with the upper part up. I guess we could take a quick look at the directions and see. So the packaging only shows the stirrups being attached on the lower back ones. So that's interesting. Okay, so you lift this up to show the blaster, which of course we do have missiles for it. The real question is, does it shoot without the blaster shield up? So there we go. Here's our button. Launches while it's in the up position. Let's go ahead and put it down. Launches in the down position. So it doesn't really matter what position it's in. I'm not going to lie, I am not a big fan of this design for the SkySled. I just think it looks kind of dumb, honestly. There are some things I don't think you need to try to modernize to make them look more realistic, and the SkySled is one of them. It had a very nice design back in ye olden days, and it's still a good design. Plus, let's not forget that it used to attach to the battle ram. Frankly, I'm not gonna lie, the battle ram fully is one of my favorite vehicles in this universe, so I really would like to see them make a full-on battle ram in Origins. And obviously, this thing would not work with the rest of the battle ram if they did that, so that's a bit of disappointment there. But that is our SkySled, pretty much there. We can hook the extra missiles up to the side here, which is good. You just have to play with it a bit because the missiles aren't fully round. They do have the little slots there to help line them up in the cannon there, but that's about it. Back of it, no stickers or anything up with this to try to recreate like a blast flame or anything from here. That's unfortunate. No stickers on any of the equipment here. Again, a bit unfortunate. So there's no like targeting computer set up on this thing or any diodes or anything shown. Just all blank. Honestly, there's not even any paint on this when you get right down to it. It's just 2 different color plastic. Oh, wait, no, there's some paint down here at the bottom. Forgive me, I was wrong. There's a little bit of paint on it, but they did not really go all out with deco on this thing at all. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our HeMan. The head sculpt's pretty much a HeMan head sculpt from the movie. He's got the little sword pouch thing, and since then, I have seen a preview that shows that, yes, this is the design for his sword holder in the movie, which does make sense, again, because it does make it easier for him to put the sword in there, because there's not a lot around it to block it or hinder it. And the sword fits pretty good, although it doesn't go in as smoothly as I've seen on the other figures of He-Man we've seen so far. He is designed to hold his magic sword aloft, so he can go ahead and yell by the power of Grayskull. And actually, the hand works a little bit better than some of the other ones have, I want to say. So that's not bad. Articulation-wise on this guy, his head spins around, moves up and down a little bit, side to side. Obviously a ball joint like we're used to. It does not feel like, yeah, there's no give around here. So one of the cost-saving measures for this one seems to be just having the ball joint be an actual part of the main body. Where at other figures we've seen, you know, we've got that big hole around there, so the neck moves with it quite a bit. Which is what really gives us a lot of our additional movement, you know. Like, yeah, we can do the basic here, but if you had that other thing, it'd probably go a little bit further. The arms do hinge up and down and spin around. Single joint in the elbow, and a spin for that peg. Spin at the wrist. The right hand has the up and down, the left has in and out. We did see the spin at the waist when I was messing with it earlier. He can kick up that far, and he can kick back that far. Honestly, it's not too bad of a kickback. Single joint at the knee and can flex. That is it for the articulation on the legs. So again, he has almost the same articulation as an Origins figure without the boot cut and without the ankle articulation. Now, I'm just kind of thinking, oh yeah, he can spread like that too. He can man spread. And I wonder, like honestly, these figures are pretty good overall. The only thing that I really think is missing for a budget figure, which would have been nice, is if they had the ankle articulation still. I wonder how much more these figures would have been if they had put in ankle articulation. Because these aren't the higher end, you know, Masterverse or Chronicles where we want the thigh cuts, the bicep cuts, and all that other stuff. This is still budget, and besides using less plastic than Origins, you know, just for an example here, it's a pretty decent standard figure for this. And this is also one of the reasons why I'm thinking that the Origins figures will work with this as well. But I just wanted to point that out because, like, I would have been really all into this line if if it had the additional ankle articulation. Boot cut's not that big of a deal to me on these. But the main reason the boot cut exists in Origins is because of being able to, you know, swap out parts. Oh. So let's go ahead and fit HeMan here onto the SkySled. And I forgot about these things. You know what? I'm using that on the wrong side, aren't I? All right, so we stick the foots in there. I figure it's just going to be easier to put the foot in place before pushing the ball joint in place. You know what I mean? So we got HeMan on the SkySled like this. And this is riding it more like a motorcycle. Now we can lift this up. And he looks a little bit weird that way. But then, let's see, we switch out to the other set of pegs here. Oh, for goodness sake. Stick that in. And I lost the other one. Stick that all the way in. Now we got that raised up. We move these out. There we go. So now he looks a little bit more normal when he's standing up on the SkySled. That's why I think they have the two there now that I'm looking at it. Again, launch the missile. I am glad they gave us a button there and not had it set up so that you had to like open and close this thing to do it, which is a way they could have done that. Oops. I'm also kind of wondering, because if we look here, there's some hydraulics here, so I guess this is supposed to, like in the movie, this raises up. But I kind of feel like that's kind of silly considering the design of this, because I just feel like that would, if you have an emergency landing and that doesn't go back down, then you're fucked even more. We do have little pipes down here too that just add a detail. Yeah, so it doesn't look too bad. As far as, you know, this goes. I said I would rather this was designed to look more like the original SkySled. Because how badass would that have been to see that original SkySled flying around in the air in this movie? But let's go ahead and see if we can fit the Origins HeMan on here. I don't think there's any reason he should, like, honestly, because they're the same height. Although this guy is wider. The foot still fits in there. It's a little bit tighter of a squeeze. Okay. Although it does seem like it's a problem getting it... It does seem like there's a problem getting it to stay up as high. Because, you know, it locks into place up at this upper section. But we can kind of get it to work with the Origins HeMan here. Oh, shit. I wanted to do the laying down position, but... Oh. Once you get those joints in there really good, it's really hard to get them out. There we go. All right. The handlebars, honestly, if they moved a little bit more, this would probably be a lot easier. Actually, his ankle articulation makes this a lot easier, too. All right. Oh, for sake. All right, so now we can fit him on there with the back pegs. Oh, the back pegs actually work a little bit better, but he does look more awkward than the core class He-Man looked on there. Yeah, I think if you really wanted to get this and use it for your Origins figures, I think you're fine with it. I think it'll work out just fine to do it that way. So ultimately on this SkySled He-Man 2-pack, it's an Amazon exclusive, by the way. I just wanted to throw that one out there real quick before I forgot again. But if you wanted to get this for your kids, I think it's going to be a fun toy for them. It looks pretty good, and as we saw, you could use this with your Origins figures if you wanted to. Actually, kind of like if you remember when they did the CGI He-Man on Netflix, the motorcycle that they made with Man-at-Arms to be like the battle ram cycle, that works really well with Origins figures too. That's actually what I have my one Tila on, just as a side note. So yeah, you could use this with your He-Man figure. You can use this with your Origins figures if you want. Again, I'm not a big fan of this design. I would much rather have seen them actually use the classic SkySled for it. In fact, I would have liked to have seen them use the whole battle ram in the new movie. Which, as I'm recording this video, I'd like to point out again, like all my recent ones, I have not seen the movie yet. My plan from the date that I am recording this is to go see it literally tomorrow. And hopefully I can get the popcorn buckets and sword and all that other crap that I want. I did pre-order a couple of the buckets from Royal Theater. Supposedly they're supposed to mail them to me at some point. Hopefully it's soon. But overall, I do think this is going to be a fun toy for your kids. If you're trying to get your kids into the Masters of the Universe with this core line, I think this is going to be fun for them. Like one of my favorite features on like the old toys were like shooting missiles and everything. That was one of the best features of that battle ram, was that missile that just launched from it, you know? And I think that, you know, you've got this, you can directly fire at other characters and stuff. Obviously, you know, if you've got younger siblings, you're probably going to shoot it at them too. I know how kids are. I was a kid. I'm still barely an adult as it is mentally. But I would actually recommend this one. If you're, again, buying the figures for your kids and not just yourself, I do believe that this is going to be a fun toy to have. I don't know how many more core class figures though I'm going to pick up in this line. They aren't bad, honestly. I think I may have blasted the Skeletor when I first did it. But as I started thinking more about these figures, since these figures are made mostly for kids to be a cheap toy for them to be able to get, I'm starting to like them more and more. As a collector, I wish they had the ankle articulation, then I'd probably be jumping all over this entire line. And I still might. I'm not going to lie. I still might get more of them. But you know, you get your He-Man, you get your SkySled here. You don't have to buy the separate He-Man. Although you'll get another He-Man if you buy that 4-pack off Amazon also, which I've been considering, but haven't jumped into yet either. For a kid's line, this is good, I think. But why don't you let me know what you think? And especially if you are a He-Man collector and you have kids and you want to get them into this more, is this something you're buying for them? Because I am curious. But if you did enjoy this review, please feel free to blast that like button with your cannon. If you want to hear more of my nonsense in the future, please feel free to subscribe. Perhaps you might even want to give that little notification bell a nudge. I thank you for watching. Peace and love. Since I mentioned it before, I just wanted to give you a little bonus showing what I was talking about. That's the cycle from CGI He-Man in the Masters of the Universe series. Again, I thought it was a great series. I didn't care much for the repaint of Man-at-Arms that came with this, but as I was saying, it works really well with the Origins line of figures. I've got my Tila that came with Zor on here. I used to have her riding on top of Zor in my display, but you know, when it gets warmer, all the plastic starts to bend and she just goes flying off. So I eventually did this. Unfortunately, there's not a good place to put her sword, so I just kind of like stuck it in the little hole there. So now it just makes this even more deadly of a weapon as a cycle. But yeah, I just wanted to show you this thing, and I regret not getting more of this, but I thought for sure that we'd see this vehicle go on clearance and I could have gotten like a whole biker gang worth of them for cheap, and it never went on clearance. And that made me so sad because this was just awesome.